Hey everyone, my name is Cyrus. Welcome back to my channel. I'm out camping, but yesterday I went to go see Spider-Man Brand New Day, and I have not been able to stop thinking about it. I'll keep this beginning part spoiler free, but let me just start off with saying I think this is by far the best Spider-Man movie out of the Tobey Maguires, Andrew Garfield's, the best Spider movie I've ever seen. Even better than the Spider-Verses, I think. It was absolutely incredible. The acting was so good. It really totally felt like they took it right out of a comic book. The conflicts that were happening, not just with the villains, but within Peter, it was absolutely incredible. I cried 4 or 5 times throughout the movie. It just tugs on your heartstrings, and if you like Spider-Man at all, you have to go see this movie. If you haven't seen the past Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, go watch those and watch this. I cannot wait. As soon as I get back from this camping trip, I'm going to be watching all 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man movies and watching the Spider-Man movie again right afterwards. I am so happy with what they produced. It gives me faith in the Marvel Cinematic Universe again. I've not watched a lot of the newer Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff since Endgame. I watched the No Way Home Spider-Man movie, and then, I really kind of fell off. I watched a couple things here and there, but there was just so much coming out with so many different things going on, and I just fell off it a little bit. And then watching this, it was absolutely incredible. Like I said, it's honestly like a 5 out of 5 stars for me. You have to go see this movie. I'm going to jump into some spoiler thoughts now, because I have so many thoughts about this movie. I just want to talk about them, get them out of my head. So starting out, right, we're basically jumping right in from where we left off at the end of No Way Home, which is just devastating. Everyone has forgotten who Peter is. Aunt May has just died. And you see basically like almost like a time lapse, like 4 or 5 years pass by so quickly, where we see that since nobody knows who Peter is, he might as well just be Spider-Man, because people remember Spider-Man. And so he just throws everything he has into being Spider-Man. I'm assuming she's the commissioner of the police. I don't remember her character's name, but she's played by the same actress who was in The Bear. I think Liza is her name. She is so good. I absolutely love her. I loved her in The Bear. I love that she's in this. I got so happy when I saw her. And you see that really, like, she's kind of Peter's only friend. But even she calls him out on it. Like, I know nothing about you, nothing about me. Like, you don't know my kids' names. You don't know any of this stuff. All he does is be Spider-Man. He finds like a dingy apartment that he soups up, and that's his whole life, being Spider-Man. Until MJ and Ned move back to New York. He's been following their life on Instagram, and it is just like so sad to see him looking at his best friends and not be able to be there with them, and them not knowing who he is. It is just heartbreaking. But they move back to New York, and Peter runs into them. Well, runs into Ned and follows him back to his apartment, where he meets Ned and meets MJ. And again, it's so sad that they don't know who he is, but at least he gets to see them. And so all this is happening, and we kind of, at the same time, our villain is getting introduced. Somebody who can hop from person to person, hop inside them. And I'll be honest, I had no idea who this villain was going to be. I was racking my brains. Do we have a Spider-Man villain that can do this? At first, maybe I thought it was Chameleon, but Chameleon can't hop into people's minds. And I was really like, who could this villain possibly be? And I honestly, it caught me completely off guard. I did not expect for it to be Jean Grey. As soon as we found out it was, I was like, oh my God, shoot. Like, that's great. And Sadie Sink, absolutely perfect Jean Grey. Absolutely perfect. Now that I know who she's playing and the character she's playing, phenomenal choice. Phenomenal choice. So, so good. And so Peter's trying to figure out what's going on with this person. At the same time, his DNA, his arachnid DNA is getting amped up. And they threw me for a loop in this movie. I thought 100% that it was going to be Man Spider. And I was like, oh shoot, this is going to be crazy. I was watching with my wife and she doesn't know what Man Spider is. And so I was watching it like, man, like this is going to be crazy when this happens for her. That isn't what happened, but I really thought they were setting it up for that and maybe in the future, but his powers are going all wonky and he's not really sure how to cope with the change in his powers. And all this is happening. He's trying to figure it out. And he goes to damage control and he meets the director of damage control. And kudos to my wife. Immediately she was like, this guy's trouble. I don't trust this guy one bit. I didn't catch it right away. I thought, no, I think, he seems like a stand-up guy. I think it'll be fine. That was silly on my part, obviously, because he turns out to be a complete and utter piece of shit. But he's going through, and eventually Jean figures out where he lives and finds the note that he wrote to MJ. And she finds MJ. And that whole scene where Peter thought that he got to MJ first, gets her away, and thinks that she remembers him when she doesn't. That was devastating. And like, I know Jean is going through stuff and she was sad, but that was like such a horrible move, man. This guy, no one remembers him and you're doing this, like, oh wow, like really, really rough of her to do that. And so now Peter eventually gets MJ and realizes, I have to put her somewhere, I have to get her somewhere, and realizes that the only person that he can really trust in this situation is Frank Castle, the Punisher. And I've got to say, the bromance between Spider-Man and the Punisher, and honestly between Tom Holland and John Bernthal in real life, absolutely love it. I watched their Hot Ones episode. It was incredible. You have to go watch it if you haven't seen it. But it was just so cute to see these characters interacting in this way that's just like butting heads, and they're different, but they want the same things. And yeah, I love the Punisher as a character, and I love John Bernthal as an actor. He is so good, and he's literally the perfect Punisher. I'm so happy he's able to reprise this role in the Daredevil series, now in here. I haven't actually seen the Punisher movie yet, and I need to go watch that because I'm assuming that what they're talking about in this movie, that Spider-Man saved his life, happened in the Punisher movie. So I need to go watch that. But so good, their little relationship when they're in Frank's kind of base and MJ's kind of figuring out a bit more about Peter, and they're having these conversations, and it's just, it makes you feel so badly for Peter, who is kind of getting to relive these relationships a little bit with his best friends, despite them not knowing who he is. And eventually they capture Jean Grey, not before she mind controls the Hulk, and that whole scene is so cool, and you finally think, okay, they've got her. And then you find out, wait a second, Peter goes back with MJ, brings her home. She finds the letter, finds out that she used to know who he was, but doesn't remember him at all anymore. Brings Spider-Man back to her apartment, where he gets to meet Ned and gets to hang out with him, and just, they're making Legos and they're talking, and oh man, when they do the Lord of the Rings quote, whew, that got me. And you find out All these things are happening, and you find out that when MJ was taken over by Jean, she couldn't remember a single thing. It was just like a blink, and all of a sudden she was waking up, falling through the air. And Peter's like, wait a second, you don't remember anything? Because that's not what the director of Damage Control told me. And so he realizes, oh shoot, this guy's bad news. He lied to me. And he goes to Damage Control to try and save Jean, because he finds out, thanks to the Black Widow, which awesome cameos. I really felt the cameos in this movie were so intentionally done. It wasn't just like a cameo for cameo's sake. It was, these characters are going to be in the movie for the amount of time that they need to be in the movie, and that's it. That happened with Bruce Banner and the Hulk, with Black Widow. All of it was really, really good. And so he goes back to confront the director, and when he gets there, he's torturing Jean. And oh man, this whole scene just really killed me, man. Just so like horrible person. What a horrible person. So Spider-Man gets there, and his powers are freaking out, and he doesn't know how to control his powers, and he kind of has this revelation moment where he's able to actually get full control of his powers as he's fighting with the Hand / Jean. And he gets in there. Jean has the director at, glass point, basically, and she's talking to Peter, and she's like, I haven't tried to get into your head again. I'm more powerful. And she says, go for it. Lets her into his head, where he gets to see this conversation take place between him and Aunt May. And there's a bit of a role reversal, and everything that Aunt May is saying, she is saying to Jean, and it could be said to Peter, could be said to Jean. The sentiment is the same. And it's that you're special, and you can never stop being you. And that even though other people aren't going to understand the powers that you have a responsibility to yourself and to others. And that scene killed me in the movie, man. I was bawling my eyes out. I'm about to start crying right now. Aunt May as a character is just such a pure character. In every iteration, she is so good. And to see that beyond the grave, she's able to affect Jean and the ongoing effect that she has on Peter. I was just sitting there thinking, only Aunt May. Only Aunt May. And after Aunt May has this conversation, Jean and Peter having this intimate moment within Peter's head, when Peter's spotter senses go off and he realizes that, shoot, somebody is shooting, the Punisher is shooting a sniper at Jean, because he's trying to stop this the only way the Punisher really knows how, with violence. And he grabs Jean, turns around, takes the bullet in the back, and as he's laying there dying, he's telling Jean, get out of here, you're okay, you can get out of here now, you're safe. And Jean uses her powers to basically keep Spider-Man alive and just keep him breathing. Keep him breathing through all of this while he was in a coma for a few days. And Frank just gets there, takes Peter to the hospital. It's kind of like a guard guarding him. And has this just hilarious plan to help him get out afterwards, where he's using the mask and he's waving at people. And so Peter can kind of just walk off into the day, because it's a brand new day. And that's what he does. He goes off, continues to be Spider-Man, but anew, more improved, more powerful Spider-Man, and a new, more improved Peter. You see him having conversations with the commissioner of the police again, where he says, you know, say hey to your kids for me, and he says their names. And you can just tell that he's happier, despite everything that's gone on. Despite MJ finding out that she used to know who he was and not remembering anything. And he's talking to May, going to her grave, and one day when he's going to buy flowers, he sees Ned at the store. And he walks up to him and he says, hey, and it's, oh yeah, you're the flower guy. And he goes, I'm Peter. Shakes his hand and does their handshake. And you see Ned just doing the handshake and his body kind of just taking over and just doing it. And this gleam in his eye. He's like, Peter? And that's it. Cut to black. Oh, they really had to do me like that right at the end of the movie. Spider-Man is such a special character to so many people and to me. And a big reason he is, for me at least, is that he always does what's right, and he always ends up sacrificing his own happiness or himself for the greater good. And that's what he did in No Way Home. And he was paying the price for it now, and he was happy to pay the price for it because that's what needed to be done. But to see right at the end that his best friend remembers him. I can't wait for the next movie. I cannot wait. Tom Holland is the best Peter Parker, Spider-Man, full stop. And I can't wait for the next one. The little post-credit scene where you see that apparently Spider-Man was spotted way off Earth. Interested to see what that ends up being. I just can't wait. Loved Brand New Day. I can't wait to go see it again. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the movie. Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to chat with you about it. I would love to know what you thought about this movie because it was one of the best movies I've seen in a long, long time. And until next time.